Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I wanted to go over some attributes, traits, and signs that you can see knowing if your avoidant partner is faithful to you. This is not a one size fits all. Every single example I bring up is just an example, it is not based off any of my patients. And this typically is it can work with either fearful avoidance, leaning dismissive, or dismissive avoidance, okay? And the very first one is that the individual, the avoidant, explains clearly what really occurred during times of accusation or confusion, okay? And this does take a little bit of rapport because sometimes what happens is if they feel too defensive, they might not be able to. So even if your partner doesn't fit all of these, if they fit one or two, it's probably a sign that they are faithful to you. And again, they could fit none of these and they are still faithful to you. They could fit all of these and they might not be. Just kind of some information. So what do I mean by explains clearly what really occurred during times of accusation or confusion? Let's just say the avoidant is a male, okay, and the partner is a female, and the avoidant, let's say dismissive avoidant, is on their phone after hours of work, and they get this text message and it is clearly a female's name, okay? And so the male avoidant is texting that person back, and their partner, let's say anxious, preoccupied, she notices that he is texting a female, and she says to him, who is this person? What's going on? Why are you texting? And then he very clearly explains, no, this person is a coworker of mine. Something happened at work and they need me to jump on quickly on my email to answer a couple things. And maybe they even show it to you, right? And so this is clearly an explanation of what's really occurring. They don't feel like they need to hide something because they don't. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that once an avoidant really trusts you, they don't feel entirely as defensive as they used to because they believe that your intentions are pretty genuine. For example, if you're doing this all the time, they may feel very defensive because they feel like you don't trust them. But this is maybe it's a once in every, couple months, maybe once a year type occurrence or barely at all. They're likely not going to be as defensive simply because they recognize that you're not necessarily that type of person. And so therefore, it's very likely that what you're feeling, they have some explaining to do and they want to make you feel better. And so this is a sign that they are in fact faithful to you. The next one is they're comfortable or they're getting more comfortable with you knowing their daily and weekly schedule. Obviously, again, this takes rapport to be built. If they're not doing these things and you guys have been together for 6 months, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. However, if they're comfortable telling you, yeah, after work, I usually go shoot pool and then, come home at this time, or they text you throughout and just kind of tell you and let you know what they're doing, they are more open to expressing their entire schedule simply because there's nothing nefarious, there's nothing going on that they really want to hide. But also it's the fact that they're very open to you and they feel like they're more connected in the relationship. So they're more likely to value the relationship, which of course adds to that capability of being faithful. Because a lot of individuals, regardless of your attachment style, faithfulness comes from a couple reasons. One, of course, it's a value issue or of ethics or some difference with a person's perception of what faithful means. It's not really about attachment issues really at all, right? But the other aspect is that individual, of course, they value themselves, they value their integrity, but the other aspect is they value their relationship, okay? Both of those things tend to be important. You can still value a relationship, but if you don't value your integrity, then people can lean into this because they might think, okay, like I see this sometimes in couples therapy where one individual's like, I felt so lonely, and so that's why I did it. And so they did value their relationship, but they leaned out because they don't have that value for themselves. So you need both sides. I've never really noticed it has much to do with attachment issues at all. It might have some, but I don't really see it like that. Most of the time it's about your values of who you are as a person as well as how you value relationships. So both of them, okay? Mainly it's actually the integrity of yourself. And so they're feeling more comfortable with their daily, you knowing their daily and weekly schedule, and they feel more like by you knowing these things, it shows that there's an integration in your life, okay? The next one is they attempt to be a consistent support for you, like a source of support, even if it's not their best skill set, okay? So they're always trying to be consistent. It doesn't mean it's always going to land for you, right? Because it's not their best skill set. Avoidant individuals, they can struggle with consistency, not all of them, but because some of them that are more like leaning perfectionist, they don't always struggle with that consistency, but they struggle with actually showing up and being emotionally supportive. So this can be kind of challenging for avoidance, especially dismissive avoidance. And what you actually end up seeing is this individual, they feel so comfortable and grateful to have you in their life. They try to be there. It might not always land, but that you see that consistency, even a little bit, okay? The next one is, I see this a lot. Like quite genuinely, this one is probably the most common one. And you can even see this in the first couple weeks, couple months. This one does not take that much rapport, but it really depends on the person. They tell you that you're the only one. Like they tell you you're the only person they're dating. They don't want anybody else. They tell you that. Not because they're trying to be romantic, even though maybe it comes across romantic. It's because they're being logical, right? Like just simply, no, I'm not talking to anybody else. Very, very simply, okay? In general, the next one is that they are honest with you consistently, even if it bothers you. So let's give an example so that we can illustrate what this means. Honest consistently, even if it bothers you. Let's say you're wearing an outfit that is not that appealing, perhaps what it is. So you ask if the outfit looked nice. You're just asking them, hey, does this outfit look nice? And they admit to you that they actually don't think it's your best effort, right? Or they think that maybe the colors don't look nice, or they don't feel like the colors match. They might admit they don't necessarily like the color red, and that could be why they don't like the outfit. And so they mention, I don't think it's horrible. Like it's not the worst thing, but I don't think it's your best effort. It's not my cup of tea, right? And that might make you upset, like genuinely, but they were honest with you, right? They weren't trying to be harsh. Oh my God, it's like the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Hopefully not. Like that needs to be readjusted, but they're honest. I don't think it's your best effort. I don't think it's your best look. Like whatever it is, right? Because a lot of times avoidance may use the word effort, and that can come across a little offensive to some people because avoidance, they value effort a lot. So they might say it's not your best effort, even though you put effort into it, but understand that what they're trying to say is it's not your best look. Anyways, they are honest with you consistently, right? So why is this important? It shows integrity in general. That means if they were attracted to somebody or if they wanted to leave the relationship, they would tell you even if it bothers you, which means likely if they're not doing that, they're honest with you, okay? And the next one is a little bit strange that this would fit, but the reason why I'm mentioning this is because they're like open with you in general, and that's that they're comfortable sharing financial matters with you. Obviously, they're not hiding who they're spending on, but it doesn't mean that you have to see their entire, like all their financial portfolios. I'm not necessarily saying that, but just in general, they are comfortable expressing themselves financially, and they could buy things for you. Maybe they expect you to buy things from them, like it's an exchange. You guys buy things for each other's birthdays, or they just tell you, hey, I'm investing in this, this stock, or I have this much in my retirement. And so they're comfortable sharing those things simply because this means that they're not as guarded with you, and they don't feel that they necessarily need to hide something. Now, this one is just, it doesn't have to be the case at all, but it's just a sign that the avoidant is comfortable with you in general. Even if your avoidant doesn't do this, they can still be faithful, okay? Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.